If you're lucky, you've got about 83 years to live. And most people split those 83 years into the same 6 chapters. Chapter number 1, infancy. Chapter number 2, childhood. Chapter number 3, your teenage years. And chapter number 4, adulthood. Chapter number 5, middle age. And chapter number 6 are your senior years. And each chapter has different societal expectations around what story should be unfolding. Chapters 1 through 3 tell stories of playing, growing, learning, enjoying, exploring, experimenting, and trying and failing. These chapters are relatively stress-free, responsibility-free, and work-free. Then in chapters 4 and 5, the story takes a dramatic turn. Your life goes from all play, no work to all work, no play in the blink of an eye. And so chapters 4 and 5 tell stories of working, hustling, grinding, planning, prepping, saving, going and going and going and going. And most people see these chapters as a necessary suffering, a rite of passage, so to speak, a one-way ticket to the retirement of your dreams, which is where chapter 6 kicks in. Chapter 6, the final chapter in the story of life, is all about those senior years, the old age and the retirement that you've worked so hard to achieve and to earn. And in this chapter, we hear stories of happiness, relaxation, enjoyment, exploration, quality time, family time, or at least that's what people expect. Tons of people head into retirement expecting fulfilled dreams, a haven filled with hobbies and travel and ticked off bucket lists. Golden years of perfection. But that's the thing about expectations, isn't it? Sometimes, in fact, often, they're not met the way that you thought they might be. In March of 2023, the Wall Street Journal did a study to actually look at how people were really spending their time in retirement. And here's what they found. They found that most retirees were spending about 9 hours sleeping, 4.5 hours just watching TV, and just over 6 hours sitting around, relaxing and kind of doing not much, which is pretty interesting because what it looks like is most people spend their retirement effectively sleeping, sitting around and watching TV. Not exactly the sexy dream chasing life that you thought it would be, right? And that's precisely the problem with glamorizing your future. It usually leads to some kind of disappointment, and that's because of the when-then fallacy. The when-then fallacy is a reasoning error, but it's also a mindset that says that happiness, adventure, financial freedom, love, whatever it is that you most desire can only exist when you've achieved something else. Only when you achieve X can you receive Y. It puts the onus of long-term satisfaction and gratification onto an external achievement, a success, a checkbox, anything that you can point to that says you've finally earned it. So where does retirement come into all of this? Well, the retirement paradox is one of the best examples of the when-then fallacy in action. Because people say things like, when I retire, then I'll finally travel and explore the world and live the life that I've always wanted. When I retire, then I'll finally have time to chase my passions and my hobbies. And when I retire, I'll finally have time to spend with my family. Applying when-then to your retirement sets you up to enjoy life, but only once you've retired. Now, delaying gratification isn't inherently bad. Too much instant gratification too often can actually lead to a life of hedonism, which might not necessarily be healthy, because you can, in fact, have too much of a good thing. But the risk of delaying gratification is when it comes at the expense of living a life that you enjoy today. And that's exactly what the when-then fallacy does. It forces you to see joy now and joy later as these two mutually exclusive things that can never coexist in the same time and place. It delays gratification, but also robs you of joy right now. If you ask me, the biggest problem with the when-then fallacy is that it fails to answer one simple question. Why can't you have happiness and fulfillment now and later? And if you're not keen on waiting to be happy and fulfilled, well then welcome to the club. The first step in ditching the when-then perspective on retirement is easy. It's a mindset shift that focuses on creating an integrated and designed life. An integrated life moves you away from thinking of things as before and after, and thinking about your life as an evolving experience continuously filled with growth, freedom, and happiness throughout every stage. And so here's what that can look like. Let's compare the status quo with an integrated life. In the status quo, we've kind of covered the chapters. You've got the first bunch of chapters which allow you to focus on enjoying life, your infancy to your teenage years. Then from young adulthood all the way through to your senior years, you're basically working 60-hour weeks, trapped and hoping that one day you're going to finally get to enjoy and have fun. And then the idea is senior years and you finally get to retire and be happy, but we've already seen that that isn't necessarily true. But think about an integrated life, one where you actually get to blend in all of your passions all throughout the evolving journey. In your 20s, you might discover your passions and work out what really makes you tick, and then basically start doing that and developing skills in that area. In your 30s, turn your passions into profits and establishing the foundations that you need to start and continue living your ideal life. In your 40s, start increasing your freedom, reevaluate your passions and interests, and then pivot if necessary, because you can. In your 50s, evaluate, evolve, and prioritize work, tasks, and people that give you the most amount of joy and make more time for them. And in your 50s, continue to do more of that. Just keep finding more and more time to do the things that you enjoy most. This is the path of an integrated life. When you're following the status quo lifestyle, there's a lot less freedom, a lot less growth, and a lot less happiness, at least until you get to 65. But as the data shows, you'll probably just end up sitting on the couch anyway. Crafting an integrated integrated life, and sprinkling every life stage with passion and happiness and joy offers continuous growth and development. No more waiting until you retire to start to feel happy and fulfilled, or more realistically, waiting until retirement and then being disappointed that you're not spontaneously just happy and fulfilled. Society might tell us that a status quo life is what we should want, but that's only because that's what we're used to. An integrated life is how we can actually thrive. Not everything in life is about giant wins and massive achievements. There's incredible beauty in small and continuous growth, and that's the best way to foster ongoing happiness and fulfillment. Crafting the life that you want doesn't mean sacrificing happiness for hustling, or choosing stagnancy over moving, or constantly making massive stress-induced changes, all in the name of success. That doesn't guarantee late life enjoyment or happiness. It guarantees burnout and regret. Weaving happiness throughout your journey before and during retirement is the way to go. Now, that might seem like a big shift, but making changes to reprioritize growth and happiness doesn't mean only hustling and stressing. Change-making steps can be small and digestible, like taking time to reflect and understand and acknowledge your current place in the status quo life arc, or working to understand and articulate your most important values, desires, and priorities, or even simply outlining the steps that you need to take today to create more freedom, happiness, and joy in your life. All of those tasks can be done from the comfort of your own home with nothing more than a pen, some paper, and some time for self-reflection. But don't let the simplicity of that cloud the importance of the work. One good decision can have a life-changing ripple effect. So just start with one small thing. Take some time out of your day today to complete this exercise to start to craft your own integrated life. Number one, write down the vision of your ideal life in 25 years. Use as much detail as possible. What are you doing? Who are you doing it with? Where are you? How do you feel? Number two, now that you have an idea of where you want to go in the next 25 years, think of one or two things that you can do today to start to move you in the right direction. This could include things like writing down a list of your values and goals. It could be considering how you might change your career to be more fulfilling. I mean, in fact, it could even be something like if your future vision is you on a yacht, maybe go and get some sailing lessons. All of these things are going to start to make tangible your vision of the future. Step number three is take action. Start doing these things today, not next week, not next month, today, so that you can start to build momentum towards an integrated life. And I know from experience that you can create pretty much any life you want in about 3 to 5 years. Just over 5 years ago, I was an alcoholic drug addict living on my office floor, and now I'm the CEO of one of Australia's fastest growing companies, and I get to travel the world as a digital nomad. But if you want to create that kind of change, you need to start with something, even if it is just small. And just start with one simple thing. One small change that starts to help you get away from the traditional expectations of your life trajectory. One small change that can propel you forward into an integrated life of happiness and joy. One small mindset shift that grounds you in the present, not just delaying all of your happiness into the future. A simple choice helps to bring your future to today and your today into the future, and crafts a truly integrated life. Because ultimately the question isn't about when you find happiness, it's about how you bring happiness into your life today. And if you found this useful and you want to get more ideas like this, then of course hit the subscribe button. But I'd also recommend that you sign up to my weekly newsletter called The Wild Goose Chase. And if you want to do that, there is a link in the description for you to subscribe right now. And one more thing, if you did like this, share this with a friend, family member, or loved one, because I'd love to get these ideas further out. Thanks again. Until next time, stay awesome and stay powerful.